Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to week 3. So we're in week 3 of 4 of the sleep material, and then of course 3 of 8 for the course. So we're making our way through. We're over halfway already on the sleep section of the course. So this week is, again, one of those great. I feel like I say that every chapter we read in this book, but one of those great chapters in this book when we're talking about dreams and how dreams relate to sleep and what the meaning and purpose and for that. So the material is super interesting anyway, I feel like, and I think perhaps you will too. So it's people usually have lots of questions about sleep or about dreams and how that relates, why we do it, what's necessary about it. So some great material in the book this week. I'm looking at the syllabus, so I'm looking at the syllabus here. I'm on the other topics, and the other pieces are making connections between REM sleep, dreaming, and health. Also really important for our understanding, moving forward on this understanding of the importance of sleep and how these pieces all connect in that way. So talking about REM sleep, and I know it's come up a couple of times in the book already, REM sleep and non-REM sleep, but and how that relates into our overall health. So great stuff there. And then I think perhaps maybe my favorite part is looking at the connections between sleep and creativity. And I think it might be one of my favorite parts because I can tell the difference in my own self when I'm getting enough sleep and my creativity. For instance, when I'm writing, it's so much easier to write. The words just flow through the fingertips on the keyboard so much more easily when I'm getting enough sleep. And there's days when I'm not, and I'll just look at a paragraph for what it feels like an hour or two and just struggle and erase and struggle. And so much of it, is tied back to sleep relative to that. So I really like that part of the book because I feel like I can connect to it so well. So the other parts of the course, I guess I wanted to mention too, is we've gone through a couple weeks of meditation. And again, if this is new for you, congratulations on sticking with it for a couple weeks. That's really great. It's, as behavior change data shows, if we can do a behavior for, moving out to 10 to 14 days, then we're actually starting to make some real progress on integrating an actual behavior modification. So we're there. So great job on if it's a struggle to move through that, I totally get it, and just hang with it, stay with it, and I think perhaps challenge yourself even more, regardless of where you are in the meditation piece. Maybe it's a good time in the course to go beyond 5 minutes. If you're still at 5 minutes, maybe try to bump that up to 7 minutes or even 10 minutes or longer. And if you've been doing the same type of meditation and you're maybe ready to try something else, go for that too. So maybe you've been just focusing on breathing at this point. Maybe you could now you could maybe try a new technique of perhaps thinking about a word or a phrase, or you could just focus on your breathing. Or you could even just, there is a type of meditation where you just take in the sounds that are around you. So maybe you, if you're doing it outside, just listening to nature, or or the breeze, or cars, or whatever. If you're in your home, maybe it's the sounds that you're hearing within your own house or elsewhere. But that's another type of meditation to try, or something else. So I guess what I'm saying is, maybe branch out from where you were and try something different. Maybe there's a new technique that you feel like, that you want to try. and maybe you'll like that better than what you were doing before. I always feel like it's a good idea to have multiple tools in your toolbox, and it also is really helpful when we're talking with other people about trying a new something like meditation, that you've tried it before yourself too, so that you know what it's like, what it feels like, the challenges, the upsides, all of that. So give it a shot, something new there, and perhaps pushing beyond your 5 minutes if you haven't done so up to this point. And again, then the sleep diary, keep plugging away on that. I just one comment I think about that, about keeping a diary or a journal or recordings, or wearing monitoring devices, all of those kinds of things. Not all of those techniques work for everyone, and I really feel strongly that and I mentioned having a toolbox. It is language that we use in this program, is that having a lifestyle medicine toolbox is important. And you don't build a house with a single tool. It's the same way you don't go into a patient coach or a patient or a client coach or patient provider scenario with only one tool. Some things work better for some and not for others. And so I always want to mention that, because sometimes people get really frustrated and don't particularly care for writing things down in a journal or a diary. And I'm one of those. That doesn't work for me. I don't, and you might perhaps be surprised by that, because we do so much of it in our program. But it works for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for everyone. And I'm one of those people that it doesn't work for. I still have, old school watch on. I just can't get myself to move to any higher tech on the watch situation, because I don't want to be that connected. That doesn't work for me. Wearing a pedometer never worked for me. Monitoring steps, it was never motivational for me. A lifestyle journal or a nutrition journal, a sleep journal, a diary, all of those things, they just don't work for me personally, but I know they work really well for some people and other people. And this is in this class, we try it. We have to try it at least to know that it's not going to work, or that it does work. We, just as a little anecdote, in our lifestyle medicine program, when we started that thing about 15 years ago, we instituted a nutrition diary, and folks had to write down everything that they ate every day. So everything they ate and drank every day, and they had to do that for 90 days. Can you imagine? Talk about painful. But for 90 days, we did that. And this was during the pilot phase. And after those 90 days, over half of the people in the pilot program wanted to keep using it because it was so helpful for them. Other people were ready to just say good riddance, and some people were sort of indifferent about it. But I think we have enough experience with that, particularly the lifestyle journal, which is a requirement. If you're in the lifestyle medicine program, everybody uses our lifestyle journal. That we've got enough experience to know how beneficial that is in behavior change and being able to recognize patterns of behavior and outcomes associated with the patterns of behavior. That it's so useful that we keep using it as a requirement there. So I just wanted to mention, that if you're getting tired of using a diary, I totally get it. But we're going to keep plugging away in this course with it to the end. Because I think it's a useful experience, even if it's a painful experience. I think it's a useful experience in many ways. So hopefully you're able to look back at this point. You've got 2 weeks of data. You're able to look back at the data and being able to recognize patterns. And also knowing that if you're in that bucket like me, that even though I'm a data guy, I love data, kind of a data junkie in a lot of ways. I love to analyze data and look at data and look at people's journals and all of that business, and being able to make connections here and there. But for me, it doesn't work when my own behavior change. So those are two kind of separate things that that I think is important to understand as well. So in any case, stick with it, and hopefully you'll be able to start picking up some of these patterns now that you're into it a couple weeks. Okay, so I think that's it. It's a nice and short video for week 3 here. If you like always, if you have questions, just shoot them out. Let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next Zoom session. And if not, that's totally okay too. They're absolutely optional, and we'll record it and I'll send it out to you. But if you have questions, if you can't make it and you have questions that you want me to address within the Zoom session, send those to me. I think that's a great idea. Somebody did that on the first one and it really worked nicely, I feel like. So otherwise, if you have something that you want to address or talk about prior to or at any time, just shoot me an email. We can either do it by email, or we can set up a time for a Zoom session or a individual or a phone call. Or if you're in Omaha, a cup of coffee. So anyway, have a good week. I'll talk to you again soon.